in love with God, but Jesus. You sure that sees us, Jackson?
Alright.
Yeah.
You opening?
You sure we're good?
And sit down.
Sure.
I like your that.
Because I feel like we're gonna get it, and then it's gonna be like from here up.
Well,
We'll be
so much better dressed than the conservatives always.
consistently.
I wasn't ready for this.
Hey guys. And welcome to Tuesdays with Morons. This great and wonderful day of March 20th, 2012 is going to be blessed with the ideas of legalization of marijuana.
And I apologize for my absence. I've been in Central Africa hunting for Tony because of an internet video that went rampant, sending people like me away from their families to hunt after some hippie's dream of taking down and saving Africa, which will never happen.
But before we get into legalization, can we talk about what are the odds that Coney gets the nomination?
Above Romney? Because right now everyone knows the Republican ballot is
Anybody
this Romney.
But right now there
Romney,
is
Coney,
a
2012.
stain. Right now there is a stain on Invisible Children and their director.
Oh, because the one guy that was naked that ran rampant in San Diego?
The one guy,
Maybe the director and co-founder of Invisible Children was beaten off in public and vandalizing parked cars.
I mean, let's not.
Poor invisible children.
Alright, so
Why are we
anywho,
so opposed to, running around nude in public? And I feel as if
it's not the running around nude; it's the beating on other people's cars.
Okay, that might have been a little
beating
too
off. He
far,
pulled a
but
Pee Wee
he
Herman.
was doing it symbolically.
No, wait, he didn't even pull a Pee Wee Herman. This is for the children. Alright, so anywho, so what did we come to talk to about today?
Legalization.
Absolutely not.
Alright, you guys can make your argument first.
There you go.
I feel like that's fair.
Basically, every day I work in the Bell Mining Company. I see folks that come in that have thrown their life away because of pot. Pot ruins brain cell growth, it causes memory loss, and it creates a block on your knowledge. It also is a gateway drug. I don't know how many folks I've seen that are on crack, cocaine, PCP, pixie dust, angel dust, fairy dust, Xanny bars, Xanax, everything that come in because they've started on pot. And you sit there and you talk to them. And these guys, they don't talk right. These could have been really, really beneficial members of society, and they've thrown it away from pot. And I think if you legalize it, you're just going to have more folks like that. Because right now it's hard to get, but the only thing legalization is going to do is make it easier to get, and you've got more young children throwing their life away.
I think it's a very valid argument. The areas that I see that argument fall apart, though, is A, we've had a war on drugs since as far as I can remember, and it clearly hasn't worked. And the idea that it's hard to get is, I think, also false, because I could get it, you could get it, you could get it, you can get it. We can get it right here so easily as teenagers, much less if we were adults. It's become so easy to get.
But how much does it cost you to get? It costs you a lot more now.
The profit that could be made from it, yes, is high,
it costs you
but
a lot more now than it would to get it when it was legal.
When it was
legal. And sure, we can get it because we have the means to get it. We have the money to get it. A lot of folks don't have the money to get it, and that's their biggest deterrent. They're not going to do it if they can't afford it. If it comes down to smoking and joining and eating, most folks are going to eat.
Yeah.
Most.
Exactly.
Except for those guys who get into it, have to have that joint, and they don't provide food for their families.
Unfortunately, you're running into a place where you're having to delineate between what you're allowed to choose for your own self-destruction and what the government can say is wrong for you. And the problem is, who's to say that alcohol isn't the same way? Why is alcohol legal but marijuana isn't?
Actually, because alcohol does not provide the same, does not provide the mental handicap the pot does. But and I don't really agree with alcohol. I don't enjoy alcohol. Plenty of people in my family have been messed up with alcohol.
But people have the right to acquire alcohol, to drink it.
And you have to also admit that you guys are representing the small government side, the side that says that we won't go into your lives. And with social things, it seems to be the opposite way around. And also that I see is that medically, marijuana is not a physically addictive substance. It's the same as alcohol. It's not a physically, it is a psychologically addictive substance. So unlike cigarettes, which is the physically addictive, it has nicotine, which will make you want more. There's a substance in it which will make you want more. While
More
psychological,
folks die of car crashes every year than die from lung cancer. The thing about nicotine is a stress relieving substance. You know how much worse crime would have if, and you know, maybe I'm just
What is marijuana?
Maybe I'm just being speculative. It's THC, it's not nicotine.
I know, but I mean, are you saying it's not a stress relieving substance?
But the difference, let me get there.
Okay.
Nicotine, it helps relieve stress, and sure it is a physically addictive substance, but it does not impair you. It does not take some of your right mind away from you, whereas THC does. THC makes you drowsy, it makes you lose your attention span, and when you take it, you become very visually, hearing impaired, and that's how you get a young teenager smoking a joint in a car, ends up wrapping his car around a tree. Or worse, running over somebody who's standing on the side of the road, minding his own business.
What about the repeated studies that show that you're more capable intoxicated with THC than you are with alcohol?
I don't agree with alcohol use, but we're not arguing the legalization of alcohol.
But I think you have to consider them hand in hand, because it's the government stepping in to say, this is what you're allowed to use to destroy yourself, or this is what you're not allowed to use to destroy yourself. You don't have the right to come by this substance.
Maybe.
What separates these is what I'm asking.
And I don't know. That's for folks, I guess, a lot smarter than me. And, you know, there's probably some kind of reason in which alcohol, I guess.
I think it's just because of the history of the substance.
The only thing
alcohol is much more linked to world history than...
The only thing I could think it would be is that the turnover rate for alcohol is much quicker than it is for marijuana. Much quicker. You know, you can drink a beer and in 2 hours you'll be fine. You can smoke a joint, and you know, if you're not that big, your head's still spinning the next day. And you have to have more out, or you can have one joint does the same as drinking 4 or 5 beers. So,
But don't you think that
the whole moderation thing?
With the war on drugs, it's literally trying to go out there, bust things up, stop supply, stop everything. And so far, I think we can all agree that the war on drugs has been a failure. If it's been going on for so long, and I don't think it's made very much progress at all. In fact, all it's done is put tons and tons of people in jail. And that's the other thing we have to look at, is also the fact of, you know, not putting people's lives, throwing people's lives away. And in certain areas, especially California,
not throwing folks' lives away.
after three times being arrested, and it could be for all misdemeanors. If you've been arrested 3 times, then you have to spend the jail the rest of your life. So somebody who's been arrested for marijuana
Where did you hear
use,
that?
It's true. Isn't that 3-time rule?
It's the 3-time felony rule. The felony rule does not carry a life sentence.
Well, yes, no, 3-time felony rules in some states. If you're arrested 3 times and you're convicted 3 times, then you serve a life sentence.
No.
I'm fairly sure that's correct. Not in the nation.
At any rate, you have to look at the fiscal side of this. The thing about the fiscal benefits of not putting as many people in jail for misdemeanor crimes, as well as the fact that you legalize marijuana, tax that.
And then the small businesses, all the dispensaries.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about the expenses. All right. You tax it. Okay. So marijuana has become a legal substance. You know what rises? Your insurance cost rises. Every insurance you have, car insurance, health insurance, home insurance, everything is going to rise because you have just introduced a drug to the market. Everything's going to rise. All right. So if your government is providing health care, eventually your government's going to be spending more on health care because the insurance rates have
government
rise.
provides health care, doesn't it?
Government has